hello, Courier Nation. Welcome to the Deliver on Your Business podcast, where you are the boss. Each week, we talk about how to make the most of your business as an independent contractor, as a courier delivering for gig economy apps like Grubhub, Doordash, Postmates, Uber Eats, and so many others. Well, Merry Christmas, Courier Nation. I know this is the last episode before Christmas Day, and so I want to take a moment and just wish you a wonderful Christmas season and a wonderful holiday time, and just to wish you the best. I hope it's a wonderful time for you, for your family, for your loved ones. So folks, we are coming up on the end of the year, and in the first part of the year, we want to start taking a look at some things about taxes, especially because I know that's going to be a big concern for a lot of people. I've already had people responding to me saying, that's something I want to find out a little bit more about. So here's something that I want to ask you to do real quick before we get into today's topic, and that is just, if you have specific questions about taxes, about what kind of expenses you can do, about mileage, about your vehicle, about how taxes work, I'd love to hear them from you. If you can shoot me an email with your questions about taxes, if you can go to the contact page on the website, and there's a place where you can leave a voice message. And I'd love to get your questions. I'm looking at lining up a CPA that can join us on one of these episodes, and we can start digging into some of those questions there. So maybe if there's ways we can help you kind of get past that fear of Uncle Sam. So, okay, Courier Nation, now that that's been said, let's dig in today's topic. And today, you know what? Today I'm giving a gift away. It's Christmas time, so I want to give a gift to one of my customers. Now, as an independent contractor, my customers are Grubhub, Doordash, Uber Eats, and Postmates. And so, Matt Malone with Grubhub, or Tony Shu, Doordash, DAra with Uber Eats, or Bastion with Postmates. Guys, I want to thank you for your business. And as a thank you gift, I'm going to give you something really special, I think. And it's something that I know is at the top of your wish list. I know that this is something that all of you guys want. But I'm not sure you're ready for it. I'm not sure you're willing to take it, but I'm going to offer it to you all the same. My gift is on-demand delivery domination. Okay, we know I can't snap my fingers and just give it to you. I mean, I'm just a guy who runs a little website and a little podcast. I deliver food to people for a living. So yeah, I don't have that kind of power, do I? But what I can give you is how to get it. So you guys just sit back, be blessed, and don't wait too long to accept it. You can all have it. I'm just sure most of you aren't going to actually do anything with it. And I'll be frank here. Okay, I know my name's really Ron, but all right, bad joke. I'm sorry. I am pretty sure that none of you will take it, and it's too bad. Now, maybe somebody else out there is going to take it, and they'll bury all of you. And honestly, I'm okay with that either way too. But the funny thing is, here's the thing is, if you take this gift, you're going to quit being my customer. I'm going to lose you as a customer. And it's not about me wanting to fire you as my customer. I honestly do appreciate the opportunities I've got with all four of you guys. But it's just the nature of the gift. And I'll explain more in a little bit. You'll understand. But the thing about my gift, it's not so much giving you domination, but it is the secret to dominating as a delivery company. And if you want to really take over, if you want to really just take over this space, it's really simple. Are you ready? Here's the secret to dominating as a delivery company. Seriously now, I want to make sure you're ready because, guys, this is important. One of you guys is going to take this. Maybe you won't, maybe somebody else will, but somebody's going to take this secret and they will just crush everybody else. But I think it's, it's simple enough. So just make sure you're ready because you don't want to miss this. The secret to dominating as a delivery company is to be a delivery company. In other words, guys, quit playing games. Quit doing this. Oh, we're a technology company. We're not really a delivery company dance. Quit trying to pretend to be something that you're not so that you can get away with something that really isn't that important to get away with. Guys, your delivery companies. The people who order from you see you as a delivery company. The restaurants that you deliver for, they see you as delivery companies, and the people who are doing the deliveries for you, they look at you as delivery companies. You guys, you coordinate and you facilitate getting these deliveries done. You pay contractors to deliver the food. You charge the restaurants and you charge the customers for the deliveries. Guys, if it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, and it walks like a duck, it's got to be a delivery company, right? So why do you insist that you're not delivery companies? All right, guys, Matt, Tony, DAra, Bastion, we all know why. All right. It's a safe bet, though, that you're not reading this. Probably none of your people are listening to this podcast or anything like that because you're too busy running your tech companies. But we both know the reason for this charade. So, this part right here, it's really more for anybody else who's listening in right now. It is all about avoiding the use of employees. It is all about having to pay for people as employees because it's a hell of a lot cheaper to use independent contractors. And this all comes down to things like AB5 and all of the stuff that goes with this, because the bottom line is it costs a lot more money than just wages to hire employees. You got to pay a lot of extra taxes. I get that. You've got benefits that you got to pay out. You've got to having an HR department for the amount of people that you've got to do, that's no small task. Doing the supervision, and you've got insurance to deal with. And then, do you have to reimburse people for stuff? If you've got to pay all that money out, there's an awful lot less money left over for investors. And especially if you're having trouble being profitable in the first place, paying extra money, it just doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense right now, does it? So that's all great. Save money by hiring contractors. And that keeps a lot of your, the labor cost down, which I know is just a huge, huge, huge part of the expense of running your business. So I get that. You've got to try and keep those costs down. But you got a problem, don't you? And it's all about employment law. Because you're not allowed to designate contractors to just get out of paying for employees. And the laws, they're kind of set there, but they're not real well defined. And a lot of times you can skate around some of that stuff. But, now that California passed AB5, which is legislation that more firmly defines when you can use a contractor, and a lot of other states are starting to do this, and New Jersey's clamping down. They want to get the payroll and unemployment premiums from you, things like that. So they're putting a lot of pressure on you guys. But one of the things that it boils down to is that a lot of the laws kind of have this type of a thing about it, and it is that you cannot use contractors to do the principal work of your company. And so what that means is if you're a sales company, you got to hire salesmen. And if you are a law office, you got to hire lawyers. And if you are a delivery company, you've got to hire your delivery people as employees. So your answer to that is we're not a delivery company. We're a tech company. All we do is we try and bring people together. But guys, everybody knows that you walk like a delivery company and you quack like a delivery company. And everybody knows you're playing a game to skate around the law. But the problem that you all have with this is I think it is playing this game that is killing you all. And playing this game is going to be the thing that really buries each and every one of you. When you refuse to actually be a delivery company, you start to really suck as a delivery company. And see, this is the problem, guys. You cannot be excellent at something if you're not committed to being that something. You suck at this, all four of you. There's not any one of you guys that is excellent at what you do. And, let me put it this way. You're kind of like this line in, it's one of my favorite songs. It's a song called My Chevette by Audio Adrenaline. It's just a guy that's remembering this car that his dad had when he was a kid. And there was one line that they described it, and they said it's, 40 miles to the gallon, 0 to 60 sometimes. And that's what you guys are, You got quick, cheap delivery. It's convenient. It's delivery sometimes. And that's your problem, isn't it? It's sometimes. you've got no quality control. You got no quality. You do not fulfill. You deliver. I mean, you get a lot of things delivered, but you got a lot of problems in what you don't get delivered. And you got a lot of problems in how well the delivery is done. And I don't know of any other industry that you could suck as bad as you guys suck at what you do and still survive. And I'm actually amazed that everybody does survive at this here. But you're always going to be horrible at this as long as you refuse to go all in on being a delivery company. When you refuse to realize that your emphasis should be building around doing the thing that you promised to do, when your purpose as a company is to deliver. I know you guys got some real problems right now, and a lot of that is because you cannot deliver, or I mean, you cannot guarantee a delivery. You can't order any of us to accept a delivery. You can't force me to take this particular delivery. You can't make sure that a delivery where a customer doesn't tip is going to get fulfilled. You can't make me go 5 miles to pick up, and you can't really legally do anything about it if I choose not to accept that delivery. All you can do is you can offer incentives. You can try and pay enough to make me want to go out and do that. And maybe you can provide some rewards if I accept a certain percentage of things, but you can't make me do a thing because I'm a contractor. And your problem is that you got way too many deliveries that are not accepted. There's too many times when the customers just don't get their food. And there's way too many times. I've got friends in the restaurant industry, and they'll tell you that the one thing they hate is how many times that they've got to prepare an order only to throw it away because it doesn't get picked up. To them, it doesn't matter whether or not there was a tip on it or how much the driver is paid. They just know that they just fixed $100 worth of food that they can't do anything with. And they have to eat that price. And you can't do anything about it because you can't control these things like staffing or acceptance rates or anything like that. And you can't control the quality of the work that's done either. I mean, this is a big problem too. The problem is that it's way too easy to sign up some of us that probably shouldn't be delivering for you, you know? You get people delivering for you that represent you that, guys, you and I both know you really don't want them representing you. And I see a lot of people that are picking up orders that I'm kind of embarrassed to call myself a courier when I see them because they look horrible. They smell horrible. Their car is trashed out. And when somebody does a horrible job, when they're rude to the customers, when they're rude to the restaurants, when they don't protect the food, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. You know, your hands are kind of tied because here's the problem is if you take punitive action, that crosses the line into employment and you get sued. And either you lose money because you got to pay out a settlement on it, or you got to pay your lawyers a lot of money to defend that lawsuit. And you guys, I wonder how that is for you because that's got to be tough, isn't it? I mean, how do you control quality in that kind of environment when you can't control when your people work? You can't control how they do anything. You can't do anything when they screw up because you get sued, you know? What's that like when you know that you've got lawyers all over the country that are just chomping at the bit about the idea of getting 40% of any kind of settlement in a misclassification lawsuit? And so you got to let a lot of things slide, a lot of things that I know you don't want to let slide. I know that it's got to grate at you to have some of this quality crap going on and to know that you can't really do anything about it. How can you make sure that you accomplish what you promised to the restaurants and to the end users when you can't control how people do things? Here's the deal, guys. First one of you to accept this gift, I really believe you could blow everybody else out of the water. Tony and Bastion, I know that for you guys, right now you're hoping like heck that you can just limp along to actually get to an IPO because that's when you guys get your money. I know that. But, you know, you got a problem right now is that all of these other IPOs that have tanked or, you know, just all the issues with that, people are nervous about that and they see that you guys are not very profitable right now and there's not a whole lot of hope for profitability. So, you know that you can't go public right now. And you're having a heck of a time probably getting more people to invest money just to keep you going because you're still bleeding out a lot more money than what you're bringing in. You can't stay afloat for a long time like that. And Matt and DAra, you guys, you might be even more scared because you're already public and you got stockholders that are getting pissed right now. You're not bringing in enough money. You're not making enough money. And at some point, they're going to cut bait. They're going to cut their losses and you get left hanging. And how do any of you guys stay afloat for more than a year or two? I really wonder if any of you can survive right now. And here's the deal too, is you guys are in the middle. It's a battle of attrition. You guys are losing customers out the back door so much faster than you're able to bring them in. You know, there's a couple of you guys, and Matt in particular, Grubhub, I know you're fantastic at marketing. I mean, you're still bringing in a lot more new people probably than anybody else. All of you guys, I think, do a good job. I mean, you've done a fantastic job of just building this industry. You've started to change the landscape. You're great at bringing people in. You just suck at keeping them because you suck at delivery. You have to be great at bringing people in because people are leaving you fast. Restaurants are bailing on you. The customers are bailing on you. Drivers are bailing on you. And it all kind of comes back to this quality control thing because they just get tired of these deliveries being so bad that they move on to somebody else. But what happens is it becomes kind of a shell game. So what happens is somebody gets tired of Grubhub, you know, that they've had some bad deliveries there. So they think, okay, DoorDash is going to do better. And maybe, you know, one or two deliveries, DoorDash is pretty good. And then eventually they get that bad delivery because you just can't stop that from happening because there's no quality control. And eventually, they finally realize that it doesn't matter which one they go to, they've got a good chance of just having a horrible delivery experience. And you guys are all right now, though, you're playing this shell game, and it's more about replacing than it is about growing your company. And it is so bad right now that if any one of you guys could just be awesome at delivering on your promise to get that food delivery, you would dominate. You would take over the market. I'm serious. If it is that bad, that the customer experience is that bad, all of that, that I think if somebody were actually to be good at delivering, you'd clean up. Because now you can retain your customers. Now you build loyalty with both the end user and with the restaurants. Now you have people that are going to gravitate to you. Your customers and your restaurants start doing the marketing for you because here's the deal is they've had so many bad experiences with everybody else and all of a sudden somebody is getting awesome at doing this delivery. You're going to clean up. So this is my gift to you is just this advice. Go all in. Folks, somebody's going to do it. At some point, one of you is going to do it. And I wonder if AB5 might maybe force one of you to do this in California or whatever. But you know what? If it's not you, you're going to get crushed. So go all in. Quit playing games. Quit monkeying around with this I'm a technology company crap. Don't even worry about being a tech company. Be an awesome delivery company. Be who you make yourself out to be, which is a logistics company that is going to get these deliveries done. Because if your focus is on keeping that charade of being a tech company, here's the deal, folks. You can't serve two masters. You can't be an awesome technology company and an awesome delivery company. And here's the truth, guys. You guys, none of you are really great at either one. And that's the problem of trying to be one thing but claim to be another thing. You can't go all in on either one of them, and you can't be awesome at either one of them. And Tony, I'm talking to you right now. Your app sucks. Your technology is horrible. When your app is crashing, when everybody's just expecting that it's going to go down on a Friday, and you go down more often on Fridays than you don't, how can you call yourself a technology company when your technology doesn't work? And here's the other thing, though, is that if you're making too big of a noise, you can't go too all in on being a technology company, because if your noise is all about we're a technology company, At what point are the restaurants going to say, yeah, but I want a delivery company? At what point is the customer going to say, what do you mean you're not a delivery company? I'm looking for somebody to deliver. Because that's what they want. They want delivery. They want their food on time. They want their food in good condition. And you want to know who's going to be really good at providing what they want? A delivery company. So guys, one of you, maybe all of you will. I don't think any of you will, because I don't expect to see any common sense in this area. But one of you guys, maybe you will. At that point, you can go all in. You quit straddling the fence. You quit playing this game of pretending to be somebody that you're really not, and just embrace who you are. That's a delivery company. And the first one of you, I think, to really embrace that, the rest of you guys, you might as well throw in the towel at that point, because you're going to get crushed. Now, here's the thing. I know that that's going to mean hiring employees instead of contractors. Because the thing about being excellent as delivery is you've got to deliver and you've got to get it done. And that means you got to control the process. You got to be able to tell people that you have to pick this order up. You got to be able to tell people that, you know what, you got to be clean. You got to smell halfway decent. You got to drive around a decent vehicle. You can't do that right now. And when you can't control the process, when you can't control what's happening, you can't control the quality and you can't guarantee the logistics. And the only way to really be successful as a logistics company, I believe, is to use employees to do that. And that's why I think maybe AB5 could be a blessing for somebody here, because at some point somebody's going to figure that part out. And but you've got to control how things are done, which I don't think is even remotely possible when you're using a contractor. It can only be done with employees. And this is why, at the beginning of this podcast episode, I said that I'd probably lose you as a customer if you accept this gift. This is why, because I won't be able to contract with you anymore, because you're going to be hiring employees. And honestly, you know what? I think there's two sides to this. One, you're probably not going to hire me because my acceptance rate is horrible, at least according to your standards. But the other thing is, I don't want to be employed by you. I do this because it is an independent contractor relationship. So yeah, I'm kind of limiting some of my opportunities, aren't I? And it's kind of a dumb move on my part, right? But you want to know something? I'm going to lose you as a customer anyway, because if you don't do this, I think you're going under. And if somebody does figure this out, you're going under. So I'm going to lose you as a customer eventually anyway. So I may as well give you a gift that helps you stay around, right? And that helps you, and that helps people because they can be hired by you and all of this stuff, and that this industry could stay alive. Guys, you can afford to hire employees. I really believe this. Now, this is the thing where I'm not an MBA and I'm not into all these statistics. I'm not at that high level, so you can probably brush off a lot of what I have to say. I've been I've been an employer. I know what all those extra costs are. I get that. I know that all the insurance, we talked about all that earlier, but the problem is I think you're really stuck in a box in the way you're thinking. It really surprises me a little bit. I mean, Bastion, especially you, I think you were kind of one of the pioneers of doing this whole delivery thing. And some of the stuff you guys are doing, you're real good at thinking out of the box, and you're thinking of new ways to add revenue, to add customers. And so there are a lot of areas where you're just brilliant at that, but there's something about this employee thing that you're just stuck in this mindset. And, I get that. I mean, I understand if you do things as you do right now and you paid employees to do them, you're going to go under in a heartbeat because it is so inefficient. And if you got one person and you're paying an hourly rate and reimbursing them for mileage to go drive across town to pick up an order and then go deliver that order, and, it's at one person for one order, and, you have one person walking into a restaurant that's got a dozen orders ready to go, and they're only walking out with one, and you're paying for one person for each one of those orders. That's not efficient. You're going to pay through the rear end trying to pay wages for that. But here's the thing, guys. you can do things differently when you've got employees. You're kind of stuck with this model because you're really limited on what you can do, but you can, with employees, you can do things very differently. Because here's the deal, you can now be efficient. You don't have to worry about people rejecting orders, and you can stack up orders, and you can plan them out based on where the customers are and the most efficient ways that, one person could handle several different deliveries, because you can do this because now you can tell your people, this is where you pick up. You can focus on logistics. You can focus on fulfillment. And so the bottom line is you can get a heck of a lot more done with fewer people. And I think that's a reason that I really believe that you can go that route and not end up paying more, because you can just do more with less. Now, I'm going to give you a bonus gift to go with all of this. And that is to think about this idea. Develop a hub and spoke model of delivery. So what you do is you guys have your people. Now what happens is you just have couriers that their job is they are stopping in the restaurants and they're picking up every order that's ready to go. And what you do then is you bring that to a hub that is very close to there. And in that hub, then you can have other couriers come and they can pick up orders from multiple different restaurants, but they're picking up those orders based on going to, let's say, the same apartment complex or addresses that are very close to each other. And so they could pick up 5 or 6 deliveries that they can get knocked out in a very short period of time based on them being located next to each other. You can set up several hubs in a region. And what that means is, let's say if, somebody orders from somewhere that's about 7 or 8 miles away from you, the food gets picked up at the restaurant, it goes to that hub, and then you've got somebody transporting between hubs. And then your couriers pick up that hub in that region or that sub-region or something like that and get that out to the people. But what you can do then is you can do all of this in a way that you're equipped to better keep the food hot, keep the hot food hot. You got refrigeration for the cold stuff. You can control all of that. You can do a lot more quality control where you keep the food in better condition during the transit. And now you're getting a much higher percentage. You're getting the vast majority of your orders fulfilled and probably in better condition, much more efficiently. It just takes a lot fewer people to do the same number of deliveries. And I think that even with the employment costs, if you do it this way, you can save a lot of money. Now, does that model sound a little bit familiar? It's, it's something kind of like the way that companies like FedEx and UPS do it, delivery companies, right? Now, this is going to require some sophisticated technology. And Tony, we got to talk about your company, Doordash, because, man, you guys, you're at a real disadvantage here. You've got to have tech that works, and the DoorDash Fridays are not going to cut it here, but you've got to develop, all of you guys, or whoever of you takes on this idea, you can use technology to really make things efficient and just really make things hum. But what you're doing is when you're a company dedicated to a particular outcome that uses technology, I think that always works better than just being a tech company that does other things. So, use scanner technology. The restaurant packages the food. They print out a barcode. The couriers scan the food when they pick up. They scan it in at the hub. And when you scan the items in at the hub, you immediately know where to put it because your computer's already figured out the route, and you set the food up in areas where then when your couriers come to pick up, they just pick up right from one spot. They know right away where to pick up. They scan it out, they take it to the customer, they scan it again when they deliver, and that way you've got kind of this chain of knowing that everything is getting where it's supposed to go. And when your technology is really good at this, guys, you can be awesome, and you could do a lot with a lot fewer people. The other thing you do is maybe you provide the vehicles, and this serves 3 purposes. You avoid the reimbursement cost. That's part of the problem with the employee model because, the states require you to fully reimburse expenses. And then you got to haggle over, is it really 40 cents a mile? Is it 58 cents a mile or whatever it is? Well, now you don't have to worry about all that because you're taking care of all that yourself, and you can kind of control that cost a little better. You've got better quality control because what you can do now is you can provide vehicles that are specifically equipped to take care of the food. And you have hot trays in there. Maybe you have it up in like a little panel truck setup where they can just open the side door and they pull out the food right there. You got refrigeration for the cold food. Here's the other thing that you got with that is you have branding. Wrap that stupid thing, put your logo all over it, and you're a billboard on wheels. And you got to ask yourself then, what is going to be more impressive to, the customer, to the restaurants or anything like that? When you got a tricked out, wrapped up vehicle that is branded and everything, or you got Joe Schmo pulling up in his rusted out, crapped out 98 Buick. Yeah, that's just so many ways that you can kind of set yourself apart by doing those things. And here's the other thing is, I think when you're using employees, is that you've got savings in other areas that I think can offset a lot of those extra costs. When you're a lot more efficient. Now, I know that having an HR department or blowing that thing up to handle those kind of people, that can be expensive, but I kind of think that an HR department is cheaper than having a legal department. When you're spending less money trying to fight off things like AB5, when you're spending less trying to kind of spin things to say you're not really an employer, well, you're not as worried about a misclassification lawsuit, but there's other things too. You're not giving out as many refunds and credits to your customers because of the horrible job that's been done. You've got better control over the process. You're keeping your restaurants, you're keeping your customers, and it's a lot cheaper to keep your customers than to keep trying to bring new ones in. And, then when you are doing your marketing, you're bringing more people in on top of it. So all of those things I think really make a huge difference. And the bottom line is you begin to dominate because you're not losing those customers and restaurants out the back door so fast anymore. And when you start to become awesome at what you promised to do, more people are coming back. And the other thing that happens is now you got your customers and now you got your restaurants doing the marketing for you. And it's just, there's kind of a snowball thing that can happen with that. You're having trouble keeping customers and you know why. And right now, the only thing that's really keeping you in business right now is all of your competition is just as crappy as you are. But when you are going to start setting yourself apart, when you actually go all in as a delivery company, when you deliver and you do it with excellence, nobody's going to keep up with you. Right now, you guys are all commodities because you're all kind of doing the same thing. You all do the same service. People hate you and they hate you all, but they love the idea of doing delivery. So that, kind of keeps going. And the problem though, is when you're all kind of just different versions of the same thing, the only thing you can do to differentiate yourself is how much you're advertising and how little you charge. Now it becomes a price thing and you can't stay in business that way because you're losing money so fast. But the first one of you that actually delivers, pun intended, the first one of you that just gets to be so much better at doing what you promise, the first one of you to actually fulfill what the customer wants in the way that they want it and in a way that nobody else can come close to because they're on that old model. Now guess what happens? You get to set the price, you control the industry, and you dominate. Merry Christmas. And I say that not just to the companies, but to all of you folks. To Courier Nation, to all of you, I wish you a very Merry Christmas. If this website, if this information, if the podcast, if any of the stuff that I'm doing for you is helpful to anybody, could you spread the word a little bit? Let people know about the site, because then if more people can find us, we can help more people take control of their lives and their business. And until next time, Courier Nation, go out there, take control of your life, your career, your business. Go out there and be the boss.